again, the reason I'm not calling myself an introvert anymore is because if you would have caught me 2 years ago, then I would have probably said no because I was scared. But remember, I said before, people want things, but they don't want to work for them. So what do I want? I want to help people. So in order for me to help people, I have to talk to them. And in order for me to talk to them, I have to get these reps in. So now that I'm looking back at it, if anybody that's listening to this podcast or watching this podcast that has gone through any of the budget classes, you were practice for me to be able to explain exactly what I do and articulate it properly, that it made sense, that it was relatable, and things of that nature. And now I'm to the point where it's like I get excited talking about it. So when I first started talking and a little jittery, little nerves, whatever, that's fine. But I felt like I blacked out and just Hey, family, this is Che Willis coming back with another episode of Wealth is a Journey podcast. Guys, we are on episode 33. We are moving, we are shaking out here. And as always, before I get started, I always like to thank everybody who's liked, who shared, who subscribed to this podcast. That means so much to me, that people would want to listen to anything that I have to say. So what it shows me as this podcast continues to grow is that the things that I'm saying is adding value to somebody. So we're going to keep this channel growing. We're going to keep moving. We are going to keep giving out good information, something that's going to be value added for all of the listeners and watchers. So this has been a crazy couple weeks, which is a good thing. Don't get me wrong. But today, I'm going to talk about people, and I'm talking to myself as well. People who want things, but they don't want to really work for them. So hopefully you can identify with that in itself. I am a part of this group called the Morning Meetup, which is run by David Shanes. I talk about this group pretty frequently on this podcast because it's one of the reasons that I'm doing a podcast in the first place. That's one. But within this group, we meet every morning, like early in the morning. We meet before the day gets started. We read books. We talk about business, different business strategies, how to run a business, how to make sure that your business is running properly. Or if you don't have a business, how to start. I've been in this group for almost 2 years now. I'll say maybe about a year and a half. But a year in, going to these meetings and we do it on Zoom. But in being a part of this group, I almost quit because I was sitting in the background a lot. And not that I thought that people would, have any interest in what I do, but I felt like, all right, I'm sitting in the background. I'm not doing anything. Like, why am I even here? And I thank God for my wife because I talked to her about it. And she was like, well, are you speaking up? Are you saying anything when it's time to say stuff? And I'm thinking to myself, I'm not talking in front of them people. I don't know them. Duh. I mean, how do you expect to get to know people if you don't say anything? Then people are not going to know who you are. Then you're not going to be able to help people with the information that you have. So what I ended up doing was I got out of my comfort zone I'm no longer saying that I'm an introvert. That's dead. It's done. I was once one, not anymore. But that was the reason why I didn't say anything, because I think subconsciously it was a fear of judgment. Thinking to myself, there are a lot of successful entrepreneurs on this call. They know more, they know way more than I do. And just, I don't know, man, for some strange reason, just feeling inadequate. I don't know why, but I took my wife's advice. I started speaking up a little bit more, and then people started acknowledging me, if that makes sense. So I started to put myself out there a little bit more. And then right before I started the podcast, I was doing the budgeting calls. I was doing them all the time. And before I started the podcast, I was on somebody else's podcast, and they asked me like, "Hey," they're asking me all these different questions, and they recognized me because I was speaking up more. So I was on the Confident You podcast with Marion Swengler, which was a great episode. You can check out her podcast on YouTube as well. And like the questions that she was asking me was like, as she was asking me these questions, my eyes were getting open to the possibilities of, if you're more confident, you have a skill set, and if you display that skill set to the masses, then people are going to recognize you more, and then you're going to be able to help more people, which being on that podcast helped me. So I took my wife's advice, the things that I learned from being on Marion's podcast, and then it just seemed like things just started not taking off, but I was picking up a little bit of steam on just people noticing what I do, which again, them noticing what I do is going to be able to help other people, not just to say, "Hey, look at me." So anyway, people started noticing, and things were progressing. I'm interacting with people more. I'm collaborating with people more. I start the podcast. The podcast is not doing what I thought it would do as fast as I wanted it to be done. However, playing the long game, right? So as I noticed that, you feel yourself going up against a wall, and you're saying to yourself, okay, well, I can either continue or I can quit. But quitting is not really an option, because the goal and the vision is to get the information out to the masses, not try to get fame and notoriety and different things like that you might see on social media. But those things creep in your head, and then when you don't see it immediately, then you get discouraged, which I talked about before. But because I listened to my wife, because I acted on the things that I talked about on Marion's podcast, and talking to her behind the scenes and things, again, people started noticing, people started recognizing. Then I started helping more people, because people needed help with their finances. So I was doing free classes with them. I was adding value to people that I barely even knew. But as I got more comfortable adding value to them, doing budgeting classes, and just giving different ideas on how to do money and things of that nature for them, then good things started to happen. Then I put myself out there saying, okay, well, here, I'm offering my services now for a fee, because I'm starting to get a little bit more busy. So I helped out a few people from the morning meetup. And what happened is a few weeks ago, in the actual month, we have different themes, which I didn't talk about. We have different themes. So for the month of October, talking about money, how to handle money, and different things of that nature. We're about to start reading, or we're actually reading, I'm sorry, the Total Money Makeover. And I got super excited about it, because this book changed my life, changed my family's life because it showed a different perspective on how to handle your money, budgeting, telling your money where to go, and different things of that nature. And I acted on the principles that I read in that book and going through Financial Peace University. And now I'm able to help other people learn and do the principles that I learned and help them do their money better. And it's people who look like me that can identify, that can receive from me, if that makes sense. So anyway, a couple of my clients started talking to Dave about me helping them. So then what ended up happening is he called me up and said, "Hey, is Shay on this call or whatever?" I said, "Yeah, I'm on a call. What's up?" So he's like, "Yo, you're getting a lot of good feedback, a lot of good testimonials about your services. What do you do?" So I've said, "Okay, well, I'm not a financial advisor or anything like that. I'm just really good at budgeting. I'm really good at telling my money where to go." He said, "Okay, well, how about you teach a class in the next few days or whatever the case may be?" Sure. This is great. Like, absolutely. Because again, the goal is to get the word out about how budgeting, how doing your finances is not as hard as you may think. So long story short, I ended up doing the call. It was really, really well received. Again, the reason I'm not calling myself an introvert anymore is because if you would have caught me 2 years ago, then I would have probably said no, because I was scared. But remember, I said before, people want things, but they don't want to work for them. So what do I want? I want to help people. So in order for me to help people, I have to talk to them. And in order for me to talk to them, I have to get these reps in. So now that I'm looking back at it, if anybody that's listening to this podcast or watching this podcast that has gone through any of the budget classes, you were practice for me to be able to explain exactly what I do and articulate it properly, that it made sense, that it was relatable, and things of that nature. And now I'm to the point where it's like I get excited talking about it. So when I first started talking, and you know, a little jittery, little nerves, whatever, that's fine. But I felt like I blacked out and just started running things down about my wife and I, and you know, how we didn't budget properly when we first got married, and just the things that we accomplished. And it was awesome, man, because again, it opened up people's eyes for the majority of people who look like me, see somebody who look like them be successful handling money, even though they were not taught how to handle money. So I wanted something different growing up. Again, my parents, my grandparents, they did the best that they could with the information that they had. I'm assuming that their parents never taught them about money, so it kind of trickles down. So what I want to do is I want to kind of flip things. I learned about money however I learned about it, but now I want to make sure that my son knows about it, and anybody else who wants to learn about it, how it works, and those different things. So anyway, the call went really well. Um, but I started thinking to myself, like, yo, what if I quit? What if I quit? Like, what if I allowed my feelings to override my purpose and the vision and what I wanted, what I actually really wanted? And what you need to think about is, are you on the brink of quitting something that can not only change your life, but can change somebody else's life? Because at the end of the day, it's not about you. It's about who you can help, who you can pass down information to. Even though you think it's about you, it's really not. which is a lot of the reason why I didn't quit this podcast when I felt like it should have been a little bit more successful than it is. But also, any person who's going through any type of level of success in any realm of whatever, you got to go through things, because in the beauty and the lessons are in the journey. So think about something that you went through, and then you made it on the other side of that, even though you wanted to quit several times. A marriage, financial difficulty, weight loss, communication with a friend or a family member, whatever. Because you did the difficult thing and then made it on the other side, you can look back and then see all the lessons that you learned along the way. One thing that was huge for me during this call is it forced me to reflect on things that I accomplished, my wife accomplished, that God has blessed us with, because we prayed, we believed, we worked. Okay. And just the things that we accomplished, and my wife said that, like, yo, you need to tell them these things, because it'll make it a little bit better. Like, I don't necessarily like talking about the things that I accomplished because I don't want it to come off a way. But anybody who knows my heart knows that that's not me. That's not who I am. But just to run down a few things, like, because we were responsible with the money. We came together finally, and in these short 8 years that we came together, put our monies together, accomplished so many different things. Pool, cash. Tesla just bought, cash. My wife's car, Lexus SUV, cash. The patio that we have underneath our deck, the door, the restroom that we just put in the basement, the rental properties, and just different things that that you're hearing that will hopefully give you the belief that you can do it as well if you choose to go down this road. It was not easy, but it was definitely rewarding for us to be able to look back to see what we accomplished, because I'm the type of person, and I said it during a presentation, that I'm the person who just puts my head down and just like, all right, what's the goal? What do we need to do to get there? Boom. Okay, good. We got it. Let's knock down this goal. All right, cool. That goal's accomplished. Boom. What's the next thing? Put the head down and just go. Just go. Pause. But like, I don't like, after we accomplish the goal, I'm on to the next thing, which is not good. So doing this presentation, it actually helped me to slow down and realize and focus on the things that God has blessed us with, and us partnering with him with work. So I'm saying all this to say that if I had have quit, then I would have never been able to let people know what I do. And if they didn't know what I can do, then I possibly wouldn't have been able to help them and free them from the idea that you have to be in debt forever. If you choose to be in debt, that's fine. But for those who don't want to be in debt, who want to own things and so forth, we are living proof that you can do it. But you got to plan it. You got to execute on those things. You can't just wish and hope that things are going to happen for you, because it doesn't work like that. And if it did work for one thing, then it's not something that's going to happen every time. So I'm saying all that to say that you're going to have to work for the things that you want. And because I did that, I got over being an introvert. Talking in front of people consistently, even if it's for 5-10 seconds, the reps, it helps. to get those reps in. So if you're somebody who calls himself an introvert and you want to get over that, you got to get the reps in. If you're somebody who's bad with finances, you got to get the reps in. So if you want to get over anything difficult that's difficult for you currently, you got to get the reps in, because getting those reps in is going to get you to the other side. Again, 2 years ago, I would have probably never done this presentation. Nah, I'm good because of the fear of judgment. But because I was able to speak every chance I got, or any time I felt led to say something, then that gave me the belief that I can continue to do it and do it on a high level. And then I was able to do the presentation and get a lot of good reviews from the listeners, which was awesome. And people were saying like they got information different ways and perspectives. I got phone calls, text messages, because they got ideas on how to do finances different that's going to help free them. And then once they get free, then hopefully their families, but more importantly, their kids. Because if the kids get the information and then they start executing on the information, then that's when things change. And if you listen to this podcast a time or two, you'll know that a lot of things always go back to the kids, because like they need the information that we have. So it's not about work. They'll figure it out. Things of that nature. Like, give them the information that you have, especially if you're successful at something. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to talk about that, and I was super excited for myself, for the growth. I had mentioned a long time ago, maybe a couple months ago, that I see myself on a stage, like coming out from a curtain into like a sea of blackness. And that the blackness will obviously be an audience that I can't see out. Like, so that's what I see. Now, when that's going to happen, I don't know, but I got to get the reps in. So me doing this, I'm getting reps in. Talking on the morning meet, I'm getting reps in. So again, not going to be the dead horse, but I was just super excited about that, about the journey to not only building wealth, but getting out of my comfort zone and doing something different, something that a lot of people are afraid to do. What's going on, family? This is Che Willis from Wealth as a Journey podcast. I don't know if you guys know, but I help families who are living paycheck to paycheck live the life that they want to live through budgeting and investing. If this is you, or you know somebody, go to wealthisajourney.com to book a free discovery call to see if we're a good fit to work with each other for either budgeting, or if you're a beginner investor. Again, you can book a free discovery call to see if we're a good fit to work with each other. Again, wealthisajourney.com, wealthisajourney.com. Let's get back to the episode. I was afraid to do it. Doing this, I was afraid to do it. But now 33 episodes in, who would have thought? But we're here now. So hopefully that blessed somebody and helped somebody get over the fear of whatever is holding you back. I think what we need to remember is that people need what you have. And just because you may be getting resistance over here in this group of people doesn't mean the people over here don't need you, whatever it is you do. So keep that in mind when you want to give up, when you want to quit. You are going to come up against some resistance, and that's fine. It may be mental, and maybe that mental resistance, like, no, I don't feel like doing this, but just do it anyway. People need what you have. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week. So, family, hopefully you guys enjoyed the episode for today. Today's entrepreneur highlight is a morning meetup family member. Wynn Production Studios. Tell them what y'all do.
What's up, guys? It's Tilik Wynn from Wynn Productions LLC. Now, what do we do here at Wynn Productions? Listen, we specialize in all things video production and professional videography services. So here at Wynn Productions, you can get tons of services from us. So we do TV commercials. So if you have a business, you need a commercial for your business to bring in tons of new clients and get a certain message out to clients as well. Listen, we also do drone and aerial filming, give you that wow factor in those videos and make people say wow about what you got going on. We also do event filming, so if you have an event coming up, you gotta capture the moment on video to make it last a lifetime. We also do customer testimony videos. That's you getting your customers to come on camera and say great things about your business and talk about their experience working with you. We also do television shows, so if you ever aspired to have your own show, we can make that dream a reality. And those are just some of the amazing things we do here at Wynn Productions LLC. So if you're interested in some of our services, all you gotta do is give us a call, pick up that phone, and dial 754-225-2805.